All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about a super powerful tool for fighting financial crime. The thing is, Congress authorized it 4 years ago, and it just doesn't exist. This is the story of FinCEN's missing whistleblower program, and why its inaction is putting pretty much every bank out there at risk.
So think about this for a second. How do you actually stop a massive billion-dollar financial crime? You know, the kind that's buried deep inside our incredibly complex global financial system. Is it with fancier algorithms? Piling on more regulations? How do you really do it?
Well, the answer is actually a lot simpler and way more human. You find and empower the one person who sees it happen, the insider. We're talking about the compliance officers, the bank tellers, the people in the wire room. They see what computers and regulators just can't. And the thing is, to do this, Congress didn't even have to reinvent the wheel. They just had to copy a blueprint that was already working, and working brilliantly. Let's take a look at the model they wanted to follow.
So 4 years back, Congress passed the Anti-Money Laundering Whistleblower Improvement Act. And the mission here was crystal clear. FinCEN, that's the government's financial crimes enforcement network, was supposed to set up a program to reward and protect people who come forward with tips about stuff like money laundering or sanctions busting.
The model is right there, the SEC's own whistleblower program. It's been a total game changer for fighting securities fraud. So the idea was, hey, let's take that proven formula, this amazing pipeline of top-notch human intelligence, and just point it at the world of money laundering. I mean, it just makes sense, right?
And you might be wondering, does this kind of program actually work? Oh yeah, it absolutely does. Just look at the numbers. The SEC has paid out over 2.2 times billion dollars to whistleblowers. And those tips? They've helped recover more than $7 billion for investors. It's pretty clear, when you give people a real incentive to speak up, they will.
Okay, so you've got this clear order from Congress, you've got a blueprint that's proven to work. So what did FinCEN actually do with it? Well, this is where we get to the heart of the problem.
It's been 4 years since that law was passed. And in that time, what's happened? It's kind of stunning, but absolutely nothing. Not a single rule has been written. There are no procedures, no system to take tips, no way to give out rewards. The program, for all intents and purposes, is just a ghost. It doesn't exist.
And look, this isn't just some government paperwork getting stuck in a drawer. This is a huge deal. It's created this dangerous vacuum. By not building this program, FinCEN has left itself, and honestly the entire banking system, flying blind.
Now, you might be thinking, but isn't FinCEN just drowning in data? And you'd be right. I mean, they get something like 4.6 million suspicious activity reports, SARS, from banks every single year. That sounds like a ton of intelligence, right?
But here's the thing you have to understand. The vast majority of those reports, they're what you'd call defensive filings. Banks are just filing them to cover their own backs, to avoid getting in trouble with regulators. They're not usually a smoking gun. It's mostly just noise, not a clear signal.
So what's getting totally lost in all that static? The one thing you can't get from a spreadsheet, the single most valuable resource there is: human intelligence. The context, the story behind the numbers, the kind of stuff an algorithm is never going to find.
I mean, just picture this. It's the compliance officer who flagged a really sketchy account but got told by their boss to just drop it. Right now, that critical piece of the puzzle, it's just locked away. They have nowhere to take it.
Or maybe it's the teller who's noticed a weird pattern. The same person coming in week after week, always depositing cash just shy of the reporting limit. They know something's off, but where do they go with that? Right now, there's no safe channel to get that info to the people who really need to see it. And really, it all comes down to any employee who sees something that feels wrong but is, rightly scared of what might happen if they speak up. They're afraid of retaliation. Without a real, official program to protect them, staying silent is just the safest bet. And that silence? It puts the whole system at risk.
For the banks themselves, this whole situation creates some really specific dangers. First off, their employees, their first line of defense, have zero formal protection if they report something about money laundering. This intelligence vacuum means huge problems can just fester for years, getting bigger and bigger until an examiner finally stumbles upon them and brings down a massive penalty. And yeah, other agencies might take tips here and there, but it's a messy, inconsistent patchwork at best.
So, okay, the banks can't just snap their fingers and fix FinCEN's problem. But here's the thing. They can't afford to just sit around and wait for the government to get its act together either. The smart ones are already taking action to build up their own defenses from the inside. So what can a bank's board actually do? Well, here's a pretty solid 5-step game plan. Number 1,
Set up an internal hotline, and this is key. You've got to actually test it to make sure it's trusted and really anonymous. 2. Make your anti-retaliation policies official. Put them right in the employee handbook so people feel safe. 3. Keep an eye on FinCEN because this program is going to happen eventually. 4. Audit your own blind spots. Go look for the exact problems an insider would report. And finally, number 5, start putting money in the budget now for the new compliance stuff that's coming down the pike when this program finally goes live.
At the end of the day, it really comes down to this. The intelligence gap that FinCEN's inaction has created is a huge risk for everyone. Banks just can't afford to wait for the government to fix it. They've got to act now, encourage their own people to speak up internally, and find their own problems first. Because when that dam finally breaks and the tips start flowing, the banks that were prepared will be fine. But the ones that weren't, well, they're going to have a very, very bad day.